Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Tuesday morning the 2nd of July. Sticking with the disappearance of 19-year-old Jay Slater today. Jay went missing on the 17th of June after spending the weekend at a music festival over on the Spanish island of Tenerife. He was there with a couple of friends, Brad and Lucy. Both of them have spoken out. Lucy has come under a hell of a lot of criticism, people calling her a liar, and just insane stuff. Insane stuff. However, Brad gave an important clue that when he was on a video call with Jay, that Jay appeared to be sliding down like a surface that was gravelly underfoot. And cops have also confirmed the area where Jay's phone last pinged. So if you've been keeping up with this story, you will know Jay from Oswaldtwistle in the great county of Lancashire, where I live. You will know that Jay accepted a lift off two guys and he went with them to their Airbnb in Masca, little tiny village, which is nearly 30 miles north of where Jay was staying in the touristy area of the island, Los Cristianos. I don't know how long he stayed there. I don't think it can be very long. I don't think it can be very long at all if you think about it, because they left the NRG Festival at 4 a.m. and they sat around for a while deciding what to do next. They jumped in a hire car and drove 50 minutes or so north. So now we're talking, let's say, 5 a.m. And then at 8:15, 8:30 a.m., he called Lucy. Lucy was the last call. It appears that he'd already spoken to Brad, because Brad said that he was laughing and joking about where he was. But the call to Lucy, let's say 8:15, 8:30, he was more distressed, saying that he was lost. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know how to get back to where he'd come from. He was trying to walk to the accommodation in Los Cristianos. He was going in the wrong direction to Los Cristianos. Some, including myself, have speculated on whether he was confusing Los Cristianos with Los Corrizales, which is very close to Masca in the northerly direction. We may never know. If Jay is not alive and he's not able to tell us, we may never know what he was trying to achieve. Lucy also said that Jay was thirsty, that his phone was on 1% battery, and his phone last pinged at 8:50 in the vicinity of the Mirador de Hilda, which is like a lookout spot, a parking area for hikers. That's the backstory. Now, cops spent 2 weeks searching the entire area, and what an area it is. What an area it is. This is the Airbnb. Jay will have walked up here. Now, the two guys who Jay went back to this Airbnb with are British guys. They were spoken to by Spanish cops. Spanish cops said at a press conference on Saturday that they have no relevance to the investigation. They were spoken to and they were allowed to fly back to England. And the British police are not interested in speaking to them either. Are they suspects? Not according to the Spanish police. Lots of social media people believe they are, but cops say no, they are not. And I think it's because Jay was seen. Jay was seen and spoken to after he left there. Brad spoke to him, Lucy spoke to him, we don't know who else he called. He might have been calling other people as well. That might be why he had no battery left. Maybe he had battery when he left the Airbnb, but maybe his phone's a little bit old, not a good holder of charge, and maybe it just died unexpectedly. He also spoke to Ophelia. You know, if you don't believe Brad and Lucy, if you think they're all in it, then you've also got to say Ophelia's in on it as well. And yes, lots of people are saying Ophelia, the owner of the bar restaurant in Masca, is also in on it. Of course she isn't. Why would she be? But she said that Jay had asked her what time the next bus was. And she said 10 a.m. She held up her hands like 10. Now, I think, and a lot of people have speculated, that maybe Jay misunderstood and thought he had 10 hours to wait for a bus, rather than it just be 2 hours, or even less than 2 hours, to wait for a bus. Anyway, he left, and 15-20 minutes later, Ophelia saw him. She passed by in her vehicle, and she saw him heading into the hills. So where did he go? So he could have taken a shortcut up there, he could have gone up there. There's been lots of speculation that he's actually very close, that he tried to get back here and he could have fallen and hurt himself along here. But this terrain isn't necessarily treacherous. Yes, it's fairly steep, but just look what happens when you go over this ridge line here and you go to this place. Now, this is where the cops spent a lot of their time, these ravines here. So they searched over this side of the mountain, but these are the ravines that they focused on. And the TikToker down the rapids, Paul Arnott, was in this area yesterday. And it's this area where the cops have said the phone last pinged. Now, Paul Arnott has said, after speaking to reporter Isla's the one who interviewed Brad, the phone pings in this area are very inaccurate. And of course they will be, because it's a rural area. Lots of peaks that can interfere with cell towers. And there's only one cell tower in this area, so you can't triangulate anything. So, yeah, the phone ping is going to be inaccurate. I mean, it might be accurate, but equally, it might not be. It might be way off. The phone ping was at 8:50. As cops correctly say, they've no idea how far he would have walked in the hours after his phone last pinged. He could have ended up miles away if he got that lost. Well, this is the Barranco Juan Lopez Trail. It goes down to the ocean, and people do indeed walk down to the ocean. The guy who did the press conference on Saturday said that they have walked this route down to the ocean. I showed some reviews the other day from a hiking website of people who've walked this trail down here. Paul Arnott down the rapids went down here, and he ended up stuck needing ropes to get down. Now, there is a way to go down here without using ropes, but obviously Paul didn't go that way, didn't find that way, but you can get down to the sea. Did he? On some of those reviews, it said that the trail is blocked by cactuses, and Jay did tell Lucy that he'd been spiked by a cactus, worrying that it might be poisonous. Well, they're not poisonous, but they are painful. Did he get stuck in a patch of cacti and he walked off somewhere else? But cops have scoured this area. Now, of course, dogs can't get through where the cactuses are. They can't allow dogs to go through where the cactuses are. It's too painful for them. And dogs can't traverse this really rocky stuff. If Jay had got down to here and fallen down one of these little ravines, he could be down there. He could absolutely be down there. He could have made it down to the sea. Now look at what the sea looks like. If you do this, where's this beach? This must have been when the tide was in. But where's the beach? Could Jay have fallen off a cliff? Yes, absolutely could have done. He could be in the sea. But cops have checked this ravine here. They've checked this ravine here, the Masca Gorge. I mean, look at it. Google can't even show you the path down there. They can't even show you. It's so deep. He could have walked back this way. He could have walked back this way. He could have walked over here. Yes, it's a difficult climb. He could have come back this way, walked over here, down there. Now, you'd think that if he got back here, he'd know that there's his Airbnb. So I'm not sure that he came back this way. I think he carried on going this way. I mean, look, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere in this area. And even though it has been combed over, there are so many places where dogs can't go that are just so deep that a drone can't see down there, a helicopter can't see down there. You would literally have to go down there with ropes. And what they need is an expert team with all the relevant climbing gear. Paul Arnott down the rapids has turned up without ropes, without equipment, so he can't go down these locations either. So the ex-detective Mark Williams Thomas is reported in the media as saying that the family should use some of the GoFundMe money, which is on like 40 odd K now, to get in experts. And that's probably the most sensible thing he's ever said. Yes, they do need experts. They need experts with ropes, with climbing gear. They need experts to go down to the bottom of all of these gorges. Not just walking down the path. Look, at the press conference, it frustrated me because the cops said, well, if we can't get down there, neither did Jay. That's not true. He might not have intended to go down there. He might have fallen down there. He might have got himself on one of these ridges and fallen down there. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. Now, there's another ex-detective who has hit the media headlines as well. You know, after at the press conference, the cops said there's no evidence of criminality. Well, another ex-cop has come out and said Jay Slater might not be missing at all, and police should take a second look at the two guys, at the friends. Well, all right, okay. I'm sure the cops are bearing them in mind, but a new bombshell Jay Slater theory has emerged. This is not a new bombshell theory. It's not, I'm sorry. As a former police expert claims, the apprentice bricklayer may not be missing at all. Graham Wetton, who was a member of the Met Police for 30 years, claims the apprentice bricklayer, who has been missing since June 17th, may actually need another look, as Tenerife police call off their search. Ex-cop Wetton says local law enforcement must question whether there was a third party involved and pursue criminal lines of reasoning. Speaking to the Mail Online, ex-cop Graham said, "It seems to me on the face of it that they are just focusing on the mountain, but I would hope they are looking at other avenues, and those include criminality. I've been following this case closely and discussing it with colleagues, and it's certainly a very bizarre one. Lots of things don't add up. Spanish authorities say there's no current evidence of criminality, and they called off the search." But Jay's family have been quoted in the media saying they're in the dark as to why the search was called off. Also reported in the media yesterday that the family were meeting with the police. Now, I don't know what the outcome of that was, but they're in the dark. They don't know what on earth's going on. Now, in the UK, if you're a high-risk missing person, as Jay would be, you are given a family liaison officer, maybe two family liaison officers who are involved in the investigation. They are detectives, they are on the case, but they liaise with the family to keep them up to speed, to tell them as much as they can. You know, there are certain things sometimes that they can't say if there is things that potentially could turn into a criminal investigation. They have to hold those things back. But in Spain, things work very differently. No family liaison officers, and the police are very secretive, which is a bad thing. You know, it seems that the police are years behind in that area of Spain. I mean, look, you know, it's a small rural location. They've never probably had a case high profile like this. Lancashire police got caught out last year in the Nicola Bulley investigation. They'd never had a case that blew up like Nicola's did. and they didn't know how to handle it. They lost the faith of the public because they didn't know how to handle the social media storm that erupted. It was one of the learning points that came out in the review by the UK College of Policing about the Nicola Bulley investigation, a learning point for all forces. That, you know, they need to learn how to handle social media better. Social media can be a big force for good. It can rally the troops. It can raise awareness. But there's so many crazies on social media. Cops can very, very easily get lost in all of the furore on social media with all of these crazy theories. And I said the other day when I talked about Mark Williams Thomas that ex-cops are the worst. They're the worst for getting involved and saying stuff that riles up the public. They're the worst. And this Wetton guy appears to be another one. However, Spain do things a lot differently. Again, in the media, the family claim that the trolls are winning. And of course, there is an investigation going on. They've not just closed the case and that's it, that's all. There is an investigation going on. But the more secretive they are, the worse the social media storm becomes, because social media will fill that vacuum. Soon, mainstream media will lose interest, but social media will carry on, and will carry on for as long as people are reacting to these crazy theories. But Spain do it a lot differently. So, quoting from the Mail Online, today it emerged that Spanish authorities say there's no current evidence of criminality. This is yesterday's paper. The female investigating judge, who is being kept informed of developments, has been told the civil guard sees nothing at this stage, pointing to Jay being the victim of a crime. As is standard procedure in Spain, the police force is reporting to a court, which has opened a routine judicial investigation and has declined to comment on what it's doing behind the scenes as part of the parallel probe, which has continued despite the ending of the visible mounting search. Now, it's not unusual. This is normal. There's the acute search phase where they hope to find that person alive. Talked about this yesterday, talked about this many times over many cases. And there is a parallel investigation, you know, getting things like witness statements, getting things like CCTV. All of that stuff is going on along with search teams going out, looking for the person, hoping to find them alive. So that investigation continues. That investigation doesn't stop. But the more secretive the police are, the worse it gets. And if there is no sign of criminality, absolutely none, then why are the police being so secretive? This is the issue. This is the problem. A judicial source speaking on condition of anonymity, as is normal in Spain, said, there is no evidence of criminality at this stage in the case. That's not to say things won't change, because the case remains open and investigations are ongoing. But right now, that's the situation. Another said, this missing persons case has been judicialised, as is normal in Spain, and it's been lodged at Court of Instruction number 1 in Isod de los Vinos. The civil guard don't have to tell the judge about everything officers are doing, but will be keeping her updated on case progress and, of course, update her on any significant developments. In line with the revelation that the Jay Slater probe is being treated at the moment as a missing person inquiry and not a crime, officials confirmed investigating Judge Maria Goya has not declared it secret to protect judicial proceedings. An order, called in Spanish a secreto de sumario, is often slapped on a criminal probe in its infancy, preventing even defence lawyers and prosecuting attorneys from accessing case files. Seriously, wow. Such orders also prevent public officials from revealing details of any case files, with breaches punishable by heavy fines. Judges who make their investigations secret when cases are still in their infancy act out of a desire to avoid them being compromised by minimising the risk of leaks. The judicial source said the Jay Slater case has been opened at the Isod de los Vinos court and he's not under any secrecy order. So the cops must be confident there's no evidence of a crime. And this judge is also confident because she's not put this secreto de sumario slap on the case. So if there's all of these people, all of these officials saying, look, under Spanish law, there's nothing secret here, well, then talk to us. You know, fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps. It will help. I promise you, Spanish cops. I promise you it will help. Because the more secretive they are, the worse the social media theories become. I promise you, that's what happens. Oh, and also there were sunglasses found near the phone ping. Lots of channels have gone with the glasses, the sunglasses. Look, guys, they could be anybody's. And even if they're Jay's, so what? He was there. We know he was there. So sunglasses, are they Jay's, are they not? It doesn't matter. All right, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.